With Stranger Things Season 5 concluding and having done a marathon of the previous 4 seasons prior to the release of Season 5, the final season, it was as relevant a time as any to do a ranking of all 5 seasons. Naturally, I've been seeing a lot of opinions online and talking to my friends about the series ranking from best to worst. My particular order I've yet to see anyone else have. This order that I'll have will actually be going from worst to best, so as is the case, sit back and relax, and I hope you enjoy. Stranger Things Season 2 came out in 2017. It sees an armada of Demogorgon dog hybrid things, Demidogs, invading Hawkins under the command of the Mind Flayer, who has control over Will Byers. It's a nice continuation of the plot threads from Season 1, and it is the last time the series still mostly had that small and cozy feel, until it got really big in scale. Season 2 showed a trend for the rest of the series, and that's how they know how to introduce great new characters. Billy was an absolute badass, and obviously Max became a nice mainstay for the party in the seasons to follow. That actually brings me to the main thing I didn't like in Season 2, and that was Mike. Mike was just really unlikable here because of his treatment of Max. I get that he misses Eleven, but he just came across as an annoying little brat when it came to him not wanting her to be part of his party. I just wanted to tell him to f*** off after a while. On the positive character side though, Season 2 was a turning point for myself, and I'm sure a lot of other viewers, in Steve becoming their favorite character after the pretty boy douchebag he was in Season 1. He's just a great guy once he embraces the whole babysitter role and big brother to Dustin. What was the big detriment of Season 2 for a lot of viewers was the episode where Eleven joins the punk rock group, which includes her Rainbow Room sister Aide. Pretty much everyone you talk to about the series points to this episode for the reason why Season 2 was their least favorite out of all the seasons. I agree with the assessment that it was a weakish, weird episode. It really did throw me off the first time I saw it. Upon recent rewatches, I think it's an okay change in pace from the normal action, but it is still the weakest episode of the whole series. The punk goth girl look for Elle was cool though. What this episode made me realize was the importance of the whole father-daughter dynamic between Eleven and Hopper. That dynamic just works great in both of those characters needing to fill that void in their life with that whole father-daughter relationship, which as it turns out isn't always easy. But Season 2 was just the tip of the iceberg in terms of you feeling that escalation with the show's budget when it came to the stuff with the Demidogs, which allowed for more extensive action, visuals, and gore than was seen in Season 1. I like Season 2, but because of Mike being annoying and that punk group episode, it has me place it as the weakest season, which is to still say I did find it enjoyable. The just now concluded Season 5 of Stranger Things was billed as the final season, adding a deeper level of emotional tension to its release to go with a hyped marketing campaign. It sees the Hawkins gang using all their resources and resolve to defeat Vecna and save the world. The season story felt big and appropriate for a series that had gotten as big as Stranger Things has. It was really satisfying seeing the various storylines, character arcs, and dynamics reach their natural conclusion, whether it was the Nancy, Team Jonathan, or Team Steve love triangle, the father-daughter duo in Eleven and Hopper, or Will's coming out. That story arc for Will did feel odd in Season 4, but I'll give Season 5 credit for making that dynamic a real part of the story, but not in a shove it down your face kind of way. But it led to a few nice emotional payoffs and was the character at his best. The season did a lot of what makes Stranger Things fun, with the characters, set pieces, and even music here and there. The notable difference here is that because of the nature of the story post-Season 4, there's no more sense of normal kid-teen life shenanigans to fall back on, which is what makes the series fun. But for its endgame scenario plot, it mostly did a good job juggling all the characters. A lot of how I and others felt about this season was going to hinge on how it stuck the landing in the finale. Watching it in the theaters was a hell of an experience with other fans in those crowd cheering moments and noteworthy somber scenes. I don't think they made the best creative choices with Vecna in the finale. Thankfully, they avoided a very disastrous direction it felt like they were going in. But the actual ending scenario worked fine enough. But the actual ending scenes were all beautiful and well earned. When I look back at some of the other seasons, there's ones I find more enjoyable, which is usually what happens with something billed as the ending, even if it worked fine as a conclusion. Season 1 came out in 2016. It sees a group of young boys trying to find their missing friend who has been dragged away to a shadowy dimension. Along the way, they discover a mysterious girl with telekinetic powers and a shaved head. It's a classic feeling story influenced by iconic movies from the 80s and E.T. and Poltergeist. That much is obvious. But that formula works in creating a cozy series with its small town setting, time period, and characters, with enough mystery and intrigue to keep you going. But even when I watched season 1 for the first time back in 2019 and a few times afterwards, nothing about it's going to quite make you go wow or blow you away. In retrospect, a large part of that is the smaller budget. There's not a lot of extensive use of special effects, as this was an original series at the time with nothing really backing it up money-wise. Even by the time you get to the Demogorgon at the end, you only see it in short, quick-second flashes, and even then you can see the rendering frame rate is lagging. In retrospect, there were episodes where not a ton actually happened, but I still mostly like the pacing, strange factor, and the final episode. It is quite the contrast watching season 1 in the context of the whole series, because of how much younger and smaller everyone is, and the smaller scale and budget. But they're able to use their limited resources to launch a special series. Stranger Things Season 4 came out in 2022. It was the first season I watched as it was debuting. In Season 4, a powerful upside-down being known as Vecna terrorizes Hawkins by enacting a curse that kills its victims in horrific fashion. That synopsis is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the story. This is the season where the story scope just goes to a next level, even compared to Season 3. It's an absolute narrative juggernaut, with a number of characters, variety of locations, and divergent missions that all make up the season's Infinity War story structure. And it's all just beautiful to watch. The 4 main stories being 1, the group in Hawkins dealing directly with Vecna, and then you have 11 attempting to regain her powers, the Surfer Boy Pizza group attempting to find 11, and Joyce and Murray rescuing Hopper in Russia. The number of stories, the back and forth, and the actual storytelling absolutely blew me away here. Out of all the stories, I thought 11's story in the research facility was a little too drawn out. I actually like her story the most in the first few episodes, when it was dealing with her getting bullied and coping with still not having her powers. It shows this series really knows how to create some asshole human characters who you absolutely hate. That Angela girl. But I also like what was done with another new character in Jason, who was an unexpected but great force for Lucas and the other Hawkins group to deal with. But the brutality and the ups and downs and tension in the Hopper and Russia story were great to follow as well. It's a testament to the enjoyment in following these characters, because these are long episodes. I don't have an official count, but basically all the episodes reached at least an hour and 15 minutes, but there was at least one that was an hour and 30 minutes, and the final episode was 2 hours and 17 minutes. Holy shit. This season just had an insane budget to work with, but it paid off in epic fashion with 2 episodes in particular. Episode 4, Dear Billy, was great all around, with the Hawkins group feeling the tension of Vecna's hold on Max, but the episode reached GOAT status when you got to the end segment of Max and Vecna's mind layer, and using that Kate Bush song Running Up the Hill, which you would hear more than once throughout the rest of the series. But I remember watching this whole sequence for the first time, and it had me on the edge of my seat and emotional. It was that spectacular a sequence. The sense of urgency is really there, because when you see the way Vecna kills folks, it's just beyond brutal. But the final episode was goated as well. Again, 2 hours and 17 minutes, but it was all around epic, with all the stories continuously having something to keep you glued to the TV, and an ending when you understand this story has reached another level in terms of realizing shit's about to go down. I thought they kind of chickened out with how Max's story ended, but they got a nice moment from season 5 out of it. But when it came to the impressive story scope and next level length when it came to the episodes, it made for a legendary 9 episodes of television. Season 3 came out in 2019. It sees the Mind Flayer taking control of various residents in Hawkins to destroy Eleven and eventually the world. While this is going on, the Russians get involved, causing some secret trouble of their own in the Starcourt Mall. They ended up being some great bad guys here, albeit a little cartoonish. Season 3, though, is the series at its peak. The vibes, energy, and fun are just next level. It's the ultimate summer adventure, with seeing how much fun everyone's having at the beginning, and you just want to jump in and be a part of these amazing 80s vibes. You can just feel this is when the series was really flexing at the phenom it had become. It feels that way because while there's fun to another supernatural sci-fi conspiracy story, the real fun is in the characters. Just love seeing the new phase of life everyone was in here, getting a little bit older, and the new character dynamics at play, with Elle coming into her own, everyone dealing with relationship issues, Steve embracing that new mentor role to Dustin. Season 3 cemented Steve as the best character in the series. Just amazing to see how far he'd come from the cliche prick he was in season 1. Just a great down-to-earth guy and babysitter, still with great hair. And him and the new character Robin played well off each other, with those characters bringing out the best in each other. But this is where the series really first embraces what I like to call that Infinity War story structure I mentioned in season 4, with the story scope getting noticeably larger and the amount of characters being so big. You have 4 times the amount of fun seeing these different storylines and narratives work together and eventually come together to create one epic story. Once again, the budget is taken to the next level with some very impressive visuals with the Mind Flayer in its nasty, monstrous red and gooey form. The kind of visuals and destruction they pull off in that final episode were all very impressive. And I did feel a wide range of emotions in that final episode. Pure fun, joy, awkwardness, and what the f*** with that never-ending story sequence with Dustin and Susie, and then the uncomfortable, squirming leg sequence with Elle. Did that look nasty and painful. But powerful is the only way to describe the ending sequence. It was just some amazing dialogue from Hopper, and powerful emotions seen from all the characters, noticeably Joyce and Eleven. It was masterpiece showmaking to top off a legendary season of Stranger Things, and to me, the best season of the series. And there you have it with the ranking of all 5 seasons of Stranger Things. I've enjoyed all the seasons to various degrees, with season 3 and 4 having the overall storyline, structure, and just quality to really blow me away. The experience of watching season 5 was special, with the emotional interest and investment because it was the final season. The best thing I can say about season 5 was its sense of finality. The series will continue with whatever spin-offs they're going to be doing, which is fine. Just leave this core storyline and characters alone for a while, because any more in the next few years would feel really forced. So that'll do it for this ranking video of all 5 seasons of Stranger Things. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching.